Hello, good afternoon, West Ham Network. It is Holly from the West Ham Network, and I hope you're all well. David Moyes has just finished his press conference ahead of Thursday's Backa Topola game. We do, of course, kick off the group stage of our Europa League campaign at 8 p.m. tomorrow, and there is a lot to speak about following on from what's been said this afternoon. Now, with European press conferences, you have a player speak as well as the manager. So today we heard from Soucek as well as David Moyes. And if you haven't already, make sure you check out KUNB.com for plenty more West Ham content. For now, let's jump straight in. Soucek began by talking about the emotions and excitement that comes with being in Europe for another season. He said, "We're very excited. We all remember last year and how good the tournament was. We still remember the final in Prague and we're happy to go again. Everyone is excited for the Europa League to start again tomorrow." I know I'm definitely very excited to see what we can do with another year in Europe, and we'll be at tomorrow's game as well. So say hi if you bump into me. Really looking forward to it. And I definitely want to be making as many of those games as I can. Then slide 2, we've got Soucek. He went on to speak about how it helps to have experience in these kinds of competitions. He said, "It will help a lot. We want to enjoy another year because we are enjoying European football. We get more games and are playing almost every Thursday and Sunday, and the people love it. We as players love it too. Our first game is tomorrow, and we want to play in all of them." Again, you can sense the excitement, and it's great to hear that the players want to play in all of them. And we've got games coming thick and fast, but it's a really good thing. And hopefully, it's going to bring some healthy competition and opportunities for players to show us what they are capable of. He continued by saying how this experience can help you through difficult games, adding, "It's true. I think if you win something or play many games, then you have more experience, and that experience is very important. When you have tough times, you can show your experience and what you've achieved and lean on that. It can be a big help." Obviously, it's very nice to hear that we've got this confidence going into Europe. Then Soucek went on to praise the team that we have. After some great additions in the transfer window, there is no denying that we've got a lot of very talented players in our squad. He said that he felt this squad may be the strongest that he's played with at West Ham. He said it's very different types of players, but we have individual qualities, and this makes a great squad. With the quality of these players and our mentality, it's certainly one of the best I've known since being here. So again, there seems to be a lot of positivity, and having players of this calibre is another thing that will hopefully help us to raise the standard overall amongst the rest of the team. Then came the standard taking it one game at a time comment. But it's true, we have to deal with each challenge in front of us and not get carried away. Soucek also mentioned that the goal was to get back into Europa League. He told reporters this was also our motivation to go as far as possible in the Conference League. We are now playing in the Europa League again. We were gutted not to get to the final last time, but we're motivated to get as far as we can. We had to focus on the first game now and then concentrate on each game as it comes, which again, we know that we hear this comment a lot, but it is very true. And then in terms of preparation, it was interesting to hear the tactics going into understanding our opponent's tactics and style of play. He explained that they've watched them in clips, they've prepared a lot, and they know how they've played in their last few games, as well as the shape that they like. So by the sounds of things, we've done a lot of preparation to make sure that the squad feel on top mentally, and we know how to counteract what they want to do. But we are also keen not to underestimate our opponents, which again is very important because we do not want to be turning up expecting an easy game. Then Soucek went on to chat about how he tries to help the team. He has had some better performances this season, but there has been a lot of debate, as we know, going on around how much he contributes to our actual performances, as well as whether or not we have better options available. He told reporters, "I like to be a leader, like I try to be for the Czech Republic. I've been here for a while now, and I like to help other players both on and off the pitch. As the years go on, I'm here longer and longer, and I think that with my place is higher in that regard. My behaviour is the same though. I just want to be helpful. But being a leader, it's not about how long you are here. It's about your helpfulness." Now, it's really interesting to hear him obviously talk about the helpfulness. It's one thing that you can't fault is Soucek's work ethic. When he has played, when he hasn't been played, he does a lot of running. It doesn't always play off on the pitch, as we know, which is where those frustrations come in. But he is always keen to put the team first, and he works hard even when he is having a tough time. And it's good to hear that he's helping people on and off the pitch as well. It's what you need in the dressing room. Then we had some words from Soucek about Paqueta. He said Lucas is a great player, which is definitely something nobody can argue with. He can show his skills, and what is truly special about him is no one knows what he's capable of doing. He's a very special talent and can show that he can do the things we need to get results. And that is exactly what we want, isn't it, at the moment? We want people doing the things we need to get the results. So up next, it was Moyes' turn, and he started by running through the team, telling us that we have great squad availability. Edson Alvarez is one big miss for us this game, but it will give him a little bit more time to recover from his fatigue. Moyes said, we have got everybody available, everybody fit and ready to play. Edson Alvarez is suspended. He's still getting used to Premier League, but he's fine, fit and healthy. So that is really good again. If you would like to hear more as well about the Alvarez situation, tune into Hammers Headlines at 5 p.m, where I'm going to be discussing this in more detail. Then we are switching up our goalkeeper, moving Fabianski to our European keeper this season. We've seen obviously that he's an incredibly solid option, and Moyes said Lucas Fabianski will play tomorrow night. He's a brilliant goalkeeper and he has been excellent for us at times. Lucas's form has been so good for us in the last few years, and he'll be in goal tomorrow night. So that is one definite starting player in the lineup that we know for tomorrow. Then Moyes went on to explain the lack of game time for Kudus so far, suggesting that we can expect to see a lot more from him in the weeks to come. He commented saying, I like what I see and I think he looks like a really good player. That's why we brought him, and hopefully we can give him a chance to show what he can do in the next couple of weeks. We just wanted to give him a bit of time and not expect too much too soon. So while I know a lot of us did want to see him get a lot more game time, it sounds as though he's just being bedded in, and he is in the long-term plans to be featuring a lot more, which is fantastic news. So touching on the league, Moyes spoke about our performances away from home, as well as some of the reasons that a lot of us are feeling more positive about this season than we were this time last year. For anyone that can remember this time last year, it was absolutely brutal, and we were definitely having a far better beginning. Moyes said, we've had 3 of our 4 games away, which is a really tough call. Quite a few have had 3 at home. So for us to get those points from 3 away games is really good. We score goals and we look as if we're going to score goals. And if that continues, we will have a great chance of picking up points. So it is sounding positive going into our upcoming games. Next up, Moyes explained why this competition can't be taken lightly and the very talented teams that we are likely to come up against at some point if we can reach the later stages. He spoke about some of the teams that are in Europa League, if you have a read through this comment, as well as those that could drop down from the Champions League, which will make things considerably more difficult. There is definitely no denying that it is going to be a long journey regardless, and hopefully we can continue, make it all the way to another final, and we'll have something to celebrate. It's going to be a difficult one, but I am feeling the faith at the moment. You never know what can happen in Europe. Miracles can happen, as we know from our last Conference League campaign. And then Moyes spoke about what our goal is with Europe this season. He said, if you remember last year, we had a qualifier for the group stage. That in itself, and then the games we were winning from the Conference League, helped us from getting too low. We've had a great start to the Premier League, and I think in Europe we have a great opportunity for these players to show what they can do. To be in a final and a semi-final 2 years in a row is a big thing, and I want to try and do that again if I can. Now, again, this is what we want to hear, and it's really exciting to hear that we are going in with hopes very high, but we're also going in not underestimating the difficulties that I'm sure we will face at some point in this. And then up next, we have David Moyes. His next comments were centred around the players that we now have in our squad, as well as the lack of injuries that we currently have. He did add that we can't take anything for granted, so hopefully he hasn't jinxed anything there. He said, we've probably got more players of a certain quality. It's great that everybody is fit and everybody wants to show what they can do. We're going to need it. We're in a tough set of games and we want to play well in all our games and make a good start to our group, but we won't be taking anything for granted either. I think our injury record has generally been fantastic, but the start of the season, we were really short. We had a real problem with centre defenders, and at the time, that certainly affected us at the start of the season. Now, just touching on that briefly, obviously, we don't actually have any or many serious injuries within our squad, so things are looking good, and it's going to give us the options to balance this. But as the season goes on, hopefully, we'll be able to do a little bit more squad rotation, which is something we've not really had the luxury of being able to do in recent seasons. And if we can do that, that's going to mean that hopefully we can actually rest tired legs, reduce the likelihood of injuries, and all that fun stuff that we've not had the chance to do yet. Touching on our lack of possession in recent games, Moyes explained that we do want to see more of the ball, but where we can't hold possession, we will just work hard to make it difficult to come up against us. He told the reporters, I think we've tried to build a stronger whole group. The competition is good in the squad. We want to keep that strong, and the players are in a confident frame of mind, which comes from victories and playing well. We want to try and get more of the ball in games, but if we can't, we want to make sure we're really hard to beat in games. And again, we are seeing performances this season that we haven't really seen before. Things like Brighton and going up against difficult sides where we are giving them a very good game and we're picking up points where we're not expecting to. So hopefully we can carry this into our European journey as well. Then we have got, it looks as though we can expect actually to see other players given a chance in our European journey. Again, touching on what Moyes was saying about a lot of competition, this is something that we have to do, start resting players and balancing the league with Europe sensibly. We have been quite lucky that we've managed to have almost like a solid starting 11. But if you want to be up there with the best, play so many games and do this at a really competitive level, you've got to be able to switch the team up for competitive and tactical reasons, as well as being able to give players a little bit of a break. Now, it looks as though we can expect to see other players. He said, we've got some great competition in defence. Angelo played well at Brighton and Naif came back into the side too. Dinos is getting himself ready too. So everybody fit is a great thing. It gives us an opportunity to see what they can do, meaning Dinos could well be making a cheeky appearance, which is very exciting. Then Moyes spoke about the signing of the season, James Ward-Prowse. Signing of the season so far, you never know. We may well get someone even better suddenly showing up with their performances. But talking about the strengths that he brings to our side and how we can now capitalise on set pieces, he said, I think he added things to Southampton that were fantastic, and I hoped we would be able to transfer that to West Ham. He can play several different roles for us in midfield, and he's been a good, steady signing for us at the moment. Over the years, we've not been bad at set pieces, and adding a top deliverer could make us more potent. I have to say he's had a great start to his career at West Ham. Now, that is one thing that we just can't deny. James Ward-Prowse is getting goals and assists, and he's doing it consistently in his game so far. I think a lot of us were concerned a little bit about his age when we signed him, but this is not even coming into question at the moment because he is on absolute fire and has added all of that stuff that David Moyes has mentioned there. And then finally, Moyes concluded by saying that we don't expect our opponents to give us an easy game tomorrow. He said it's a compliment to them that they're in this situation. We've watched their Braga games and we've got an idea of their level. They've started the season really well in their league, and we know there'll be a tough game tomorrow. So there you have it. Those are the highlights from today's press conference. It sounds as though we're trying to keep the positivity and all the good vibes that came with obviously doing so well in our last European campaign, but bringing that into the new season and hopefully going and doing a job. It's also good because we do have players that are raring to get onto that pitch and desperate to prove what they are capable of. So hopefully this causes some really good competition amongst our side and means that we've got some good performances and some proper battles that we're going to be seeing ahead of us. So tomorrow we face Backa Topola, and we're all hoping for a really positive start to our European campaign. Drop us a comment though with your thoughts ahead of the game. Let us know who you would like to see start and which players you want to see more of. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please make sure you hit that button and give this video a thumbs up if you have enjoyed it. Thank you so much as always. Make sure you join us at 5 p.m. for your Hammers headlines. And until next time, come on you Irons.